Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we are going to build yet another pedal with one of these tiny little LM386 chips that you can get fairly inexpensively. Now they've gone up a little bit in price and I think we all know who to blame for that, but that's a joke, don't blame him. We're going to build a pedal out of this and we're going to do something a little bit different, something that a lot of you have actually requested, but I'm going to change it around a little bit on you. You know, you have to make everyone think that you're going to take a right turn and then just go left. And yes, hopefully you're still going to like this. Hopefully you're going to think this is interesting. I think this is interesting, so most likely you're here because you saw the video on this little pedal right here, which probably the reason why most of you have subscribed actually. Whenever this pedal video goes viral or whatever you want to call it, that's when I see a boom in subscribers. Thank you all so much for showing a bunch of love for this silly little thing that I threw together. Not actually taking that whole thing super seriously, but it's very rewarding to see that you guys enjoy it. This pedal is built in a way which is that you have two of these chips, one going into the next one, sort of like this, and then to your amp. Well, what if we, instead of putting one into the next one and then going to your amp, we put them next to each other and we let your guitar go into both at the same time? This is called parallel. And I'm going to take my whiteboard and I'm going to draw out everything so that you will understand everything a little bit better, and then we'll jump into it. But before I do, I actually want to ask you guys for help. And before you ask, no, this is not some weird pyramid scheme thing. It has to do with the channel and the way I make my videos. If you've been subscribed for a longer while, you might know that I sometimes say I'm sorry that my hands are in the way. I haven't figured out a good way of filming this, and I'm talking about when I'm doing the soldering inside of a pedal, putting wires in place. I want to make the videos to the best of my ability, basically. I want to make them fun and interesting and educational, and I want to inspire you to build your own things. And I haven't really come up with a good way of filming inside of a pedal. It's harder to do than you might actually think that it is. But if you've seen some of the videos that I've done lately, you might have noticed that when I do demos of the things that I make, and I don't really like to call them demos, but more like proving that they work. If you've seen those videos, you maybe have noticed a change in quality. Hopefully you've done that. I haven't asked anyone. And that's because at some point during the summer I bought these LED strip lights and I've been using them to film those demos. And now I've built a rig that allows me to clamp them into the workbench, basically, so that I could build pedals the same way I demo them. And so in this video we're going to try that out. And I would very much appreciate if you let me know in the comments below. And I know people on YouTube tell you to write comments below because that helps the video get more traction. The more comments you get and the more likes you get pushes the channel further. But that's not what I'm trying to do this time. Sometimes I do try to do that, which I think you guys are noticing when I'm trying. I also actually do like talking to you guys. What I'm trying to say is I want to know if this is an improvement, if I'm in the right direction, if better or if it worse. If you like the way I did it before, you might have an opinion, and I would really like you to let me know, because this was a lot of work and rigging up the lights and things is gonna take extra time, and it's time that I could spend making videos, editing videos, doing posts, talk to you. So I need to know that it's worth doing, because if I have to run around in circles too long, I don't get things done, and it means that you're not getting a video. So I'm gonna clamp the lights into this and I'm gonna show you on the whiteboard what we're going to build so that you have some sort of idea, and then we're going to build it. I've also mounted a thing on the side here which might be a little bit hard, but you don't necessarily need to see these things unless you want a separate video on how I made this because you're making YouTube videos or something like that. But it will also help me with the sound because I have the microphone up on the camera, and now I will be able to put the microphone on the side so that it's going to be pointed towards my face, which it hasn't been whenever I've been showing you building pedals. Super unprofessional, but I'm trying my best to become better at making videos. So with that out of the way, let's just jump into building this pedal, and then we'll do a demo and experiment with it. And here we have the pedal that you all know and love. Yay! We can zoom in a little bit and see what happens. Whoa! Look at that beautiful face. Oh yeah. Ooh, ah. So anyway, here we have one of these chips. And before we start doing anything, let's just talk about this a little bit. So, just some basics, because someone might be new here. These are the connections that you can screw wires into, and this is where a speaker, for example, would go. And if you look right there, you can see some text, and it says ground and out, which I couldn't even show you in the original video, but here you can actually see it. And on the other side here, we have 2 ground connections, and all of the ground connections are connected internally. So if you're building something and you're like, I don't want to use all 3 connections, don't worry about it. And then we have the in, and then we have the VCC, and that is the power. So if you want to connect a 9-volt battery, you would have 2 wires, a red and a black. And the black would get connected to one of these 2 grounds, and the red one to this VCC. We all know that if you have an amp, and it looks something like this, and you have a guitar, and it looks something like that, you plug your guitar into the amp, and you can have a lot of fun. Basic things we all know. And you can have a pedal that goes in between. And if you want to, you can have 2 pedals. So far so good. You're with me? Good. Now, the guitar will go into one pedal, and then into the next pedal, and then into the amp. And here, sound will come out and annoy your neighbors. So basically, when I built this pedal right here, I used these chips basically as a tiny little guitar pedal. That's the whole thing. There is not many more parts to it than this. And I had one of these chips like so, and I had one of these chips like so. And I had flipped them around so that they were facing each other the opposite direction, like this. And I glued them together. And so my guitar came in here and went around in here and came out here. And here it goes to the amp. In today's video, we're going to put them together parallel to each other like this. So my guitar will come in and go to both of these, and then they will come out and be rejoined and go to my amp. Something like that. I hope you can see it, what I've tried to draw. Now if we look at one of these, we have a tiny little trim pot right here. And in the other video, I set one to taste, and I let the other one be changed out for a big sized potentiometer. It's the one under this knob right here, and then I can move this and adjust the gain. What we're going to do today is we're going to take this and we're going to replace it, and then we're going to take this one and we're going to replace that one too. And we're going to have 2 controls. So our guitar is going to come in here and come out here. And then we're going to have 2 different gain controls, volumes, whatever you want to call them. They're volume controls. And we're going to do something else just to make this even more interesting. Some of you who are watching this video might also have seen my experience with putting diodes on this. And I haven't abandoned the whole thing. I've been thinking about what to do to make this even more interesting. And that is, on the end of one of these, we are going to put your favorite combination, which is a big red LED and a tiny red LED together. And on the other one, we're going to put the BAT 41, which is my favorite. Not sure it's my favorite in this scenario, but I usually am a little bit in love with the bats. Now, in case you are new here, if you take a diode, something like this, you put them opposite like this, and then you twist them together at the end, and you can create clipping. And I've done a video where I put this into a guitar, I've done a video where I put this into a box, and I've done a video where I experiment with putting these on the output of these. And so that's what we're gonna do. And then we're going to experiment in the sound demo, or whatever you want to call it. Because what happens is basically this. You have your signal and you push it through the diodes, which will clip them and square them off and change the way they sound and create distortion. But if you lower the volume, you might not actually meet those thresholds completely. So the signal might go by without being really changed. I think this is going to be the most interesting thing I can do with this. Let's start building and see what happens and what you guys think. And yes, hopefully it's going to be interesting. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is just clean up these sides a little bit so that we can glue them together. And that's because when they make these, they are snapped off and you can feel that they have a little bit of an edge. So I'm just running it along a file. Now I don't want these flapping around in there too much. Obviously, with DIY things, that's a possibility. So we try to minimize it as much as possible. So I'm taking a bit of super glue and I'm sticking these together. And it's the same thing I did on the other one. I just sort of did it without showing you guys, because in the other video it was more of a continuation of the Marcoteas video and not so much a how-to on making that particular pedal. But this is building this particular pedal. So we glue them together, both of the green on the same side, which is the opposite of how we did it in the other pedal, where one was on that side. I accidentally didn't record what I was doing. I think I need to put like a monitor or something here. So if you know of any small monitors, that would be swell, because I'm already noticing something that I need to work on. What I did was I cut off some of the legs here. I cut off that ground and that ground. I also cut off this one's VC, and I soldered on the back a wire from the VC to the VC. It might be a little bit confusing, but that's because you flip things upside down. And the reason why is because if I connect a wire here that goes to the DC jack, it will also be connected there because we just have a jumper wire. And now we are going to do the same thing, but with the ground. And that's more to just ground the two boards together. All of the ground connections on the board is already connected to each other, but the two boards are not grounded to each other. So we put in a ground wire, one side to the other. And like I say in all my videos, don't forget to pre-tin your wires. That will help you make connections a lot easier. Okay, so if we take the output and we loosen it on both of these, then we can nestle in our little clipping diode thingamajig in here, and we can tighten it down and just make sure it doesn't come loose. And then we can do the same thing on the opposite side. Just press it into place and screw it down. Here I have a pre-tinned wire, and I'm just gonna attach one of the legs to one of the ends and the other one to another of the ends, like so. And now I'm gonna try to show you how to do this, but it's gonna be really hard. I'm gonna try to score through the plastic so that I can split this wire, something like so. And then I can fold this and put a little bit of solder in there. And then we can just do the same thing on this side, and then we can just put a little bit of solder here. Now you might have seen this ground wire that I put there. Let's add a DC wire as well. And so now we have to connect ground wire to the jacks, one up here, like so. And then we take a regular ground wire and we pre-tin it a little bit because that's always nice to do. And we can just attach it by screwing this screw right here. So we just open it up and we press it into place. And then once it's in, we just take our screwdriver and we can just tighten it down. So, and now it's in there snugly. Here we have the basics of the pedal, the actual effect itself. Okay, so these trim pots right here, they need to go because we're not going to be able to use them. So I'm just snipping them off, like I do in all my videos, and that's because they are kind of tricky to unsolder, and I just, instead of removing them completely, I just feel like I can get in here somehow, and I can use the legs to solder the new cables. We pre-tin them. Now we're going to connect our first pot here. You might think that that leg right there is going to go to that wire there. And you would be right to think so, because that's how the other one was made. But we're turning these into pedals, and the way we react with pedals is a little bit different. So we're going to flip the two outer legs so that the more we turn it up, the more volume and the more distortion we get, and the more like a pedal it behaves. So the first leg gets connected there, and the middle leg will still be connected to the middle, and then the last leg here gets connected back to the first. So there we have the pots, And now we just have to bring in our enclosure, which I've already pre-drilled, and it's right here. You can see it. And now we just need to pull our controls through. Okay, so here is the inside of the pedal, and we're gonna start wiring everything up. But I actually did a mistake, and it's a little bit too late to fix it right now, unless I wanna fiddle around, which I obviously don't wanna do. And that is that I glued this down. I made a little spacer ring and I glued it down just so I don't have it rattling around. And I accidentally put it the wrong way around. I wanted these on that side because this is where your guitar comes in, right here, and goes to the switch, to the board, comes back to the switch and goes there. And this are the out, and they are going to get attached there. And these are the ins. And as you can see, they don't reach. And this is one of those times when I'm doing something that, I don't know, maybe isn't super professional of me to do. But I'm gonna attach a little wire. And you guys are just gonna have to forgive me. Because sometimes you just do silly things and you don't realize you're doing silly things until it's too late. So, the input from the pedal is getting connected up here, to the first leg. And the out is getting connected to the last leg here. It's a little bit confusing maybe because they're crisscrossed like that, but that's just the way it has to be in this pedal. Every wire is in place. So, we can take our screws that comes with the enclosure and our back, and we can put in the screws like so, and then we can just screw them down like so. And there we have it. Now we can turn around, pull these back, add a couple of knobs. Well, there you have it. It's all done. Now, some of you might wonder why there's an extra hole there and if I did a mistake or something. And no, I did not. I got an idea while I was working on this for a fun experiment that I want to do. But I have to order a thing. I wasn't prepared for this. It just popped into my head and I thought, ooh, that could be something. So, I don't have the control that I'm going to put here. So you're gonna have to wait, and we're gonna do that in another video, and hopefully it's gonna be something that you find interesting and fun. So we'll see. But that's not this video. This video is done. It's finished. It's over. It's time to go and play this pedal and listen to it and see what happens when we move the knobs around. I want to thank you so much for watching and spending your time here with me. If you're new here, please don't forget to press the like button and the subscribe button. Talk to me in the comments below and let me know if this rig right here for holding the lights and the camera was a good idea, if this video was better than the other ones or worse. I would very much appreciate anyone letting me know, because it's a little bit fiddly to film with this because my head hits this thing all the time. Hopefully I've edited those parts out and you don't hear me cursing. But anyway, yes. Also, I do have an Instagram that I am not very good at letting you know that I have. So, if you want to see some extra pictures and some maybe behind the scenes stuff or something like that, head over there. It's just the same name as the channel, so it shouldn't be that hard to find. But anyway, until next time, stay awesome and cool, and go and experiment with these little LM386 ships. They are a lot of fun, and as I've hopefully proven by now, you can build a lot of weird pedals. Let's now plug this in and listen to it. Yeah. Okay, so here's the pedal right now, and I'm using my Les Paul Junior, and here is my bypass tone I'm trying out with a voiceover. So yeah, let me know what you think of that. It's a fairly simple, easy, clean tone. So yeah, let's start the pedal. And first you will notice that there is nothing, and that's because I've pulled both of these down to 0. I don't know if you can really tell, but there is a little notch that shows that they are at 0. And this is the LED clipping, and this is the bat clipping. So if I bring this one up, it will show up, and we can play the guitar and hear it. And we can take this to max. And then we can do the same thing. If we pull this back to 0, we can do this one. Just bring that in. Now it is at max. And there we have it. Sounds pretty interesting, I think. There is a definite volume difference. The bat one is so much louder, it's crazy. I think that if we find some in-between thing, like if we put this maybe at somewhere around 2 o'clock and we just bring this in a little bit, maybe we can find some nice blend in between. So let's just fool around a little bit and see what happens. Because the volume difference is so high, I mean, like when this is at max and this one is just 9 o'clock or something, you still, like, the bat will overpower. So I'm definitely gonna have to go in and do some tweaking in there so that the levels are a little bit more even, because the volume of the bat is so much higher that it's drowning out the other one. But it's still an interesting thing, I think. so I don't really know what else to show you, really. I need to do some tweaking inside. So this is definitely something we'll have to return to, I think, because, yeah, just the bat is too high, basically. Yeah. Yeah, there it is, and we can go back to the clean. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or any suggestions of what to do with this, just yeah, just talk to me in the comments below, or on Instagram if you want to, but it's easier if you talk to me in the comments below on the video, because then I know what video we're talking about, and yeah. I don't know why I turned all sad. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!